first brought out, I first did the Fantastic Four. And it was the first, thank you. I thank you, the Thing thanks you, Reed thanks you, Johnny thanks you, and Sue is very grateful. And that was the first book I did where I didn't want to do what the publisher said, just give them a lot of fight scenes. I thought I would try to get some interesting characters. So I did the Fantastic Four. My wife was afraid I might get fired because it's not the kind of book he wanted. But anyway, it sold very well. So he said, hey, give me some more superheroes. So then, I forget the next one I did, was it the X-Men or the X-Men? And that sold well. So he said, hey, do some more, give me another one. Well, now it was getting kind of tough. I had already gotten all these different powers with the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and unless you can think of a new power, it's hard to think of a new superhero. So I'm sitting thinking, what power can I give him? And I see a fly on the wall. And I say, boy, wouldn't it be great if a superhero could stick to a wall like an insect? And I said, that's what I'm gonna do. So I had to think of a name. A fly, nah. Mosquito Man, nah. And I get down to Spider-Man, and it sounded dramatic. Spider-Man. And then I figured to make him really different, I'd make him a teenager. Because up till then, teenagers had just been psyched. And finally, I figured to make him different than the other superheroes that DC had, I'd give him a lot of personal problems. So armed with all those ideas, I went running into my publisher's office, and I told him about it, and he said, Stan, that is the worst idea I have ever heard of. He said, first of all, you can't call a hero Spider-Man because people hate spiders. You can't make him a teenager. A teenager can only be a sidekick. And you want him to have personal problems? Don't you know what a superhero is? They don't have personal problems. So I was not feeling very good that day. Walked out of the office, figure I'm gonna probably get fired. And then we had a book we were gonna kill. It was called Amazing Fantasy. Now when you're gonna kill a book, nobody cares what you put in the last issue, because the book is gonna be killed. So to get it out of my system, I put Spider-Man in that issue and featured him on the cover, and then I forgot about it. Well, a month later, the sales figures came in, and Spider-Man had been the best-selling comic book in the whole world that month. It was great. So, my idiot publisher ran into my office, and he said, Stan, you remember that character, Spider-Man, that we both loved so much? I swear, why don't you make a series out of it? That's how Spidey was born. I don't consider him a villain, because what does the man want? All he wants to do is conquer the world. Now, you could walk up to a policeman right here in town, any one of you. Walk up to, it could be the toughest policeman you ever saw, but you walk right up to him and you say, Officer, I want to conquer the world. Can't arrest you for that. It is not a crime to want to conquer the world. You look up your list of crimes, it's not listed. So, Dr. Doom really isn't a criminal in any way. He's just a very ambitious man. He wants to conquer the world. I kind of respect him for that. Okay, I got myself out of that one, I hope.
Everybody in the studio was like, that's the best one. This is it. This is going to be
Now
great.
they're going to ask me to direct all the movies.
So that one you're going to like, so.
I'll tell you my most frustrating one. Do you remember the one, I forget which it was. I was a disc jockey in a topless bar. I'll tell you what's frustrating about that. They didn't shoot it in a topless bar. They shot it somewhere else, and then they put it there.
Well,
I'm going to sue them.
His scene was screened in, blue screened or whatever it was. He's over there, and then the actual stuff that was going on was over here, so they kind of merged it.
They never should have done that. Well, let me think. I thought it was originally, I don't know if they're playing that up in the stories now. Originally, I made Thor a doctor.
Yes.
And, what the hell I did? He had a cane, that's right. He walked with a cane, he was limp. He had a limp. And I thought that was unusual for a superhero to walk with a cane, I like that. But then, of course, the cane had to change into something. And I started reading some things about the Greek gods, and I realized nobody ever wrote anything about the, what the hell kind of god is Thor? The Norse gods. So I did a little research on the Norse gods, and I saw that Zeus was the head of the gang, and that his son Thor had a magic hammer. And I thought, what if I could get this doctor's cane to turn into a hammer when he becomes Thor? And one thing led to another. And then I read that Zeus had another son named Loki. And I thought, we'll make Loki the villain. And Thor and Loki, and the whole thing came together in my mind. I love Thor because I love Asgard. The only thing that bothers me, and it's too late for you to do anything about this, but you should have all written indignant letters before, the fact that they had somebody else play Odin and not me. I'd have been a great Odin. But the guy that played it, who was it? Anthony Hopkins was terrific, one of the best actors around. And a great guy, too. Not as great as me, but great. It means a funny book. It's a comic book. But a comic book isn't necessarily a funny book. A comic book is a different kind of book, physically, and it's one word, it's comic book. If ever you see anybody writing comic book as 2 words, I want you to contact me or any of my staff immediately, and we'll take action. So remember, comic book must always be 1 word. How is that? See, it's nice to be serious, okay? You don't kid around. You give a serious note, and you see how appreciative they were.